Naruto was only slightly suspicious of Mizuki's test, not enough to ask another teacher or the Hokage but just enough to be cautious of him. Mizuki explained everything, all the rules and his requirements as well as the time limit. The moment Mizuki vanished, Naruto got the pop-up for the actual quest. Quest alert. A rank mission. Knowledge is power. Acquire the Forbidden Scroll of Seals from the Hokage's library. Objectives. Infiltrate the Hokage's library. Escape undeterred with the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Bring the Forbidden Scroll of Seals to the secret location. Bonus. Completion award. 2,000 express per objective, 10,000 express for bonus objective, 10,000 Ryo upon completion of all objectives, increase reputation with Konoha. Completion failure. Capture and imprisonment. Right up until the capture and imprisonment, for failing he was completely on board with the quest. The fact that he wasn't given a choice to accept or decline made him feel even more uncomfortable. However, given the consequences, failing was not an option. So here he was, standing on a roof across the street from the Hokage's tower, trying to time the various patrols for his chance to infiltrate. He couldn't help the feeling that this was not going to end in his favor. Naruto saw the gap he was waiting for and darted through the opening to a rooftop skylight. Quickly picking the lock, he then lifted the window slightly and slid his small frame inside. Naruto's landing on the floor 10 meters below was whisper soft. He then padded as quietly as possible to the door of the assembly room he'd dropped into. Naruto cracked the door slightly open to look down the hall, seeing the patrol had just turned the corner giving Naruto the room he needed to run to the door down the hall. Naruto was very thankful that he knew the tower as well as he did or he'd have been in big trouble already. In the next room, Naruto shimmied his small body into the vent access. He needed to get down another floor and the vents once inside the building were the safest way through if he wanted to avoid any more patrols. He just had to be extra quiet this time of night because the noise would easily carry. It took about 20 minutes to worm his way through the complex tunnel system that made up the ventilation for the tower. He finally saw the library through the one and only vent into the room. The room was dark, which suited Naruto fine, no light meant no one inside it. As quietly as he was able, Naruto pushed down the vent, then popped the pin that held it in. With the one end free, Naruto was able to lower himself into the room. For a minute Naruto's observe was overwhelmed with information. Hundreds of skill scrolls and books that were so very tempting to start learning right away. But he had the feeling that he was already going to be in enough trouble as it was so best he just get what he was coming for and get the fuck out. You have obtained Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Objective completed. Awarded 2,000 express. 1 objective down, 5 to go, said Naruto, softly. Naruto-kun, is that you? Asked the Sandame. Oh shit, said Naruto, seeing the old man enter the room reaching for the light switch. Naruto was suddenly illuminated in light, holding the large scroll in his arms. I can explain. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, not looking happy in the slightest to see Naruto holding the scroll. The world seemed to suddenly freeze around Naruto as he tried to think of options. He couldn't fight the Sandame, no way, now how? But if he didn't do something to take the old man out, he'd be caught for sure. He quickly tried to think of everything he knew about the old man, his habits, his hobbies, and his tendencies. Then it popped into his head, the little orange book the old man read, that Naruto caught him reading with a nosebleed. The old man was a pervert and perverts were weak against breasts. So hot naked girls might distract the old man. Now Naruto knew there was no way he could cast a genjutsu, he simply didn't know one. But he could definitely transform into one and hope to Kami it would work. Waroke no jutsu, shouted Naruto, making the seals for henge rapidly. A puff of smoke and a young nubile, big-breasted, naked pigtailed blonde bombshell with wisps of smoke barely obscuring certain parts of her body was now staring down the venerable man. Hokage-sama, Naruto moaned in his best imitation of one of the girls from the red light district. The poor old man never stood a chance. The Hokage was instantly propelled backward with blood spraying from his nose. Within seconds, the old man was on the ground twitching and smiling a silly grin while blood flowed from his nose. I can't believe that actually worked, said Naruto, letting the henge fall away. A special skill has been created through a special act. Perverts beware, you have modified your henge to target such debased men. Waroke no jutsu, LVL, one has been created. Not one to take any gift like this for granted, Naruto quickly made his escape from the tower, past the unconscious Hokage and out his unguarded window. Bonus objective completed. Awarded plus 750 to reputation with Sarutobi Hiruzen. That's fucked up, GG, mumbled Naruto, closing the window. Naruto made it out of the village easily enough, once more his prankster ways playing to his advantage. It didn't take long before another warning popped up. This was different from any he'd ever seen before. Training Field 13, a heavily forested area populated with a large number of chakra spiders. Recommended level 12. Naruto blinked several times. This was new. So were the 3 spiders that suddenly dropped from the canopy above him and directly into his path. Chakra Spider Youngling LVL 9. HP 500 CP 100 100ths. Chakra Spider Venom will cause those afflicted to bleed out chakra. That's not good, said Naruto, quickly putting the scroll into his inventory instead of trying to carry the damn thing. That done, he pulled a handful of shuriken and kunai, then let them fly in with Buki no Arashi. The 10 projectiles rained down on the spiders, killing one outright, wounding another but missing the third completely and totally pissing them both off. Naruto pulled 2 kunai immediately after, one for each hand. Naruto quickly dispatched the weakened one before dodging the unhurt one's leap at him. A few more dodges and Naruto scored a solid hit, slicing off 4 of the spider's legs. A double pierce later and the spider was gone. Naruto smiled. He didn't get bit and 3 of them gave him 200 experience each. Why do I get the feeling this isn't the last of them? Asked Naruto to himself. This game liked fucking with him at the worst possible times. Naruto began moving through the forest again, running into several more packs of spiders, mostly younglings, but a few juveniles and adults. All experience-worthy and all obnoxious. Naruto was nearing his destination when everything suddenly went very, very quiet. It was so eerie that Naruto had to stop and check his surroundings. Looking up, he couldn't help the terror that momentarily coursed through his veins. Jorogumo, the prostitute spider LVL 16. HP 1500 CP 100 100ths. Mother to the chakra spiders inhabiting these woods, she has been roused by the loss of so many of her children. Beware her breath, for it will ensnare you as it has many other man. Those who fall prey are bedded then drained of life. Naruto swallowed heavily. He was too young to die and much too young to be a father to hundreds of little spider monsters. Naruto pulled out 2 kunai and dropped into a ready stance. Okay, you ugly bitch, let's rumble. You, she moaned. You have hurt so many of my children, taken them from their mother's embrace. You shall take responsibility. She dropped heavily to the forest floor. 8 monstrous legs connected to the largest spider Naruto had ever seen. From behind her was what looked like a scorpion's tail, but instead of stinger was a woman's body. The woman was completely lifeless, yet her mouth spoke. I will have you, then I and our little ones shall devour you. Naruto decided to wait no longer, showering her with another rain of weapons via Buki no Arashi. Sadly, it had almost no effect at all, barely ticking her HP down at all. Of course it would help to have hit with more than 1 or 2 weapons. The bitch was surprisingly agile. If range won't work on you, then I'll have to get in a bit close. Chakra Sprint, Chakra Reinforcement, allowed Naruto to close in quickly and shrug off the glancing blow from one of her legs. He ducked under the offending appendage and drove one of his kunai into the joint. Another leg swung at him and ducked, then kicked the butt of the kunai deeper into the joint. Jorogumo screamed in pain and thrashed about, getting some space from Naruto. As she backed away, the limp and injured leg caught on a tree root. She tugged against the root, eventually ripping her leg right out of her torso, spraying green oozing blood all over the place and dropping her HP almost an eighth. Okay, so that did some significant damage, Naruto said, analyzing the situation. Now let's see if I can do it again. Naruto sprinted in again, dodging multiple leg slashes, eventually getting close enough to jam 2 kunai into one joint and pop the leg free of her body instantly. Smirking in his moment of triumph, he missed the tail move on him. He then turned to be caught face to face with the woman, a crying sad woman whimpering. He hesitated. The woman suddenly smirked and exhaled a bunch of gas in his face. Naruto's eyes widened at the smirk and dropped quickly to the ground, rolled away, managing to dodge the poison cloud if just only. Rolling back to his feet, he hurled the 2 kunai in hand at the tail, one of the kunai piercing the woman's eye and penetrating into her skull. Jorogumo screamed yet again and began thrashing about, its tail waving about, trying to eject the kunai stuck in it. her HP dropping by almost half. Naruto, seeing the opening, jumped onto the beast's back, then tried to double pierce the spider's head, only to get hit by the tail with a glancing blow due to its wild thrash, knocking him back to ground. Naruto landed roughly and rolled several times, then rolled several more times as she tried to impale him with the spikes on the tips of her feet. Naruto eventually got back up to his feet once he'd gotten some distance from the bitch. "You'll pay for this, I'll devour you whole," she cried out, the eye socket now empty of the kunai and bleeding the same green blood as the rest of the spider. "Give me your best shot," said Naruto, pulling out 2 more kunai, having lost the previous pair in trying to escape her last attack. Naturally, her best shot was having a dozen younglings drop from the canopy above him and scuttle toward him, looking more than a little pissed off. Liberal use of Buki no Arashi killed off the younglings but spent the majority of his shuriken and kunai. What I wouldn't give for some Kibaku Fuda, explosive tag, or elemental jutsu right now. Naruto charged in again, 2 kunai at the ready. Once again, dodging several leg swipes and getting under her, he was able to take out another leg. It cost her severely as she crashed to the ground, no longer able to support her own weight. She couldn't last much longer, especially now that she was immobilized. Naruto activated Kunai Bukijutsu, Chakra Sprint, and Chakra Reinforcement, and charged in one more time, hopefully to finish the bitch off once and for all. Naruto slipped behind her quickly, then attacked her tail with as much power as he could, jamming a kunai into the base of the tail, then dragging it through as he spun around it, severing it cleanly. The tail and false woman landed on the ground with a heavy thud. Naruto looked at her again and her HP was flashing red and almost zeroed out. Naruto charged again, this time leaping high and slamming a double pierce into the spider's head, completely zeroing the bitch's HP. "Ha! Suck it, bitch," said Naruto triumphantly. "Congratulations, your level has increased by 1. Naruto watched in morbid fascination as the body of the spider decomposed rapidly, leaving behind a small pile of stuff on the ground. Naruto blinked, surprised. "Loot? Seriously?" She dropped loot. "This fucking game is going to kill me creating shit like this." Naruto tentatively walked forward to check the drops. High-grade chakra spider silk, soft thread-like material capable of conducting chakra. Crafting material, 3000 Ryo, chakra spider venom, toxin collected and bottled that can be applied to weapons. Venom reduces 25 CP per 5 seconds, stacks 4 times. Naruto couldn't help the little grin that sprung up on his face as he put the items into his inventory. He then spent the next few minutes collecting his spent kunai and shuriken, at least those he could find. He lost 11 shuriken and 7 kunai since the training field began. Then he refilled his equipped stock from the extras in his inventory. All that set, he renewed his chakra reinforcement before moving on toward the rendezvous location Mizuki had set. It didn't take long to arrive by the shack he was told about. Upon arriving, a timer started showing 0 hours 20 minutes and 0 seconds .00 and started counting down. Objective completed. Awarded 2000 Express. Quest update. Quest alert. A rank mission. Knowledge is power. Acquire the Forbidden Scroll of Seals from the Hokage's library. Objectives. Infiltrate the Hokage's library. Escape undeterred with the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Bring the Forbidden Scroll of Seals to the secret location. Select and learn a skill from Forbidden Scroll of Seals skill catalog. Bonus. Distract the Sandame and escape his wrath. Bonus. Completion award. 2000 Express per objective, 10,000 Express for bonus objective, 10,000 Ryo upon completion of all objectives, increase reputation with Konoha. Completion failure. Capture and imprisonment. Naruto was nearly drooling at the new objective. Naruto knew that the Forbidden Scroll of Seals was loaded with dangerous and powerful jutsu and seals. That Naruto was going to get to learn from it was awesome. Naruto quickly took it out of his inventory. "You've obtained the skill catalog, Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Would you like to open the catalog?" "Hell yeah," shouted Naruto, tapping the confirm Y button as fast as he could. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, a powerful Bunshin technique in which the user creates corporeal copies of themselves. Each capable of independent action and with their own CP pool, can even use any technique you already know. Requires 2000 CP. Kage Buki no Jutsu creates physical duplicates of a thrown weapon capable of inflicting a great deal of area of effect damage. Requires 2000 CP. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Naruto was miffed to see the rest of the scroll filled with question marks. Generally that meant the techniques were beyond his reach. And the two that remained required more CP than he currently had unless he spent every last stat point he had, which pretty much made the decision for him. Naruto dumped the rest of the points into the int stat, then went back to the scroll. It was not an easy choice. One was a major AoE while the other would give him the ability to create another fighter to work alongside him and even use jutsu. You have selected Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Would you like to learn the skill? Naruto hesitated for a second before pressing the confirm Y. You've obtained the skill, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu active LV1 Express. 0.00% CP. 1/2 total CP. Kage Bunshin are corporeal copies capable of everything you are include fighting, using jutsu and learning new things. The first Kage Bunshin will reduce your CP by 1/2 and each additional Kage Bunshins thereafter will reduce the Kage Bunshin's CP by 1/2. For example, if you have CP 2000, one Kage Bunshin will have CP 1000, but 100 Kage Bunshin will have CP 10. Kage Bunshin will dispel with one solid hit or when they run out of chakra. If they die by being hit, the unused CP will return to your CP pool. Objective completed. Awarded 2000 Express. Naruto had to read that description a few times to make sure he understood what he learned. He was itching to try it out, and according to the timer he still had a lot of time left, at least 10 minutes. Then a thought occurred to Naruto. Can I learn the other technique in the scroll? I mean, I've got lots of time, right? Naruto picked up the scroll again. You've obtained the skill catalog, Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Would you like to open the catalog? Naruto nearly cackled with joy. He tapped the confirm Y and the scroll list reappeared. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, a powerful Bunshin technique in which the user creates corporeal copies of themselves. Each capable of independent action and with their own CP pool, can even use any technique you already know. Requires 2000 CP. Cannot learn again. Already known Kage Buki no Jutsu, creates physical duplicates of a thrown weapon capable of inflicting a great deal of area of effect damage. Requires 2000 CP. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Opening square bracket question mark closing square bracket question mark. Naruto grinned regardless and selected the Kage Buki no Jutsu skill. You have selected Kage Buki no Jutsu. Would you like to learn the skill? Duh, yeah, he said, pressing impatiently on the accept button. You've obtained the skill, Kage Buki no Jutsu. Kage Buki no Jutsu active passive LV1 Express. 0.00% CP. 10 per copy, a powerful area of effect technique limited that makes physical copies of your weapons. Passively increase AoE accuracy 5%. Naruto laughed with absolute glee. Bonus objective completed. Awarded 2000 Express. Naruto was happy about all the experience he was getting, but he could help but feel a little nervous about it all. Quest update. Quest alert. A rank mission. Knowledge is power. Acquire the Forbidden Scroll of Seals from the Hokage's library. Objectives. Infiltrate the Hokage's library. Escape undeterred with the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Bring the Forbidden Scroll of Seals to the secret location. Select and learn a skill from Forbidden Scroll of Seals skill catalog. Protect the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Bonus. Distract the Sandaime and escape his wrath. Bonus. Select and learn an additional skill from the Forbidden Scroll of Seals skill catalog. Completion award. 2000 Express per objective, 10,000 Express for bonus objective, 10,000 Ryo upon completion of all objectives, increase reputation with Konoha. Completion failure. Capture and imprisonment. Naruto hadn't even noticed the timer had expired during his celebration and self-reflection. Naruto, yelled the all too familiar and all too angry voice of Iruka. I found you, replied Naruto, speaking without Naruto choosing to do so. Idiot, I found you, yelled Iruka. Do you have any idea what you've done? Do I get the extra credit now? I learned a jutsu from the scroll, so I get bonus points on my test, right? That's how it works, isn't it? Iruka's eyes widened. Who told you that? Mizuki-sensei. He told me about this scroll in this place, answered Naruto, A moment later Iruka shoved Naruto out of the way and was hit by several kunai, thankfully nothing vital was hit. Naruto watched Iruka's HP drop slightly but not enough to kill him. "I'm impressed you found this place, Iruka," said Mizuki, mock surprise in his voice saying otherwise. "I see how it is," said Iruka, his voice slightly strained by the obvious pain he was in. "Naruto, give me that scroll," ordered Mizuki. What's going on here?" asked Naruto. It was starting to feel like he was stuck in a cutscene of some kind given that his answers weren't given under his own power. "Naruto, never give him that scroll," counter-ordered Iruka, his leg bleeding pretty heavily as he yanked out one of the kunai that was only moments ago impaled in his leg. "It's a dangerous object that contains forbidden ninjutsu. Mizuki used you in order to get it for himself." "Wah, Naruto, Iruka is only afraid of you having that scroll," said Mizuki. He was clearly lying about after everything Naruto had already seen and experienced that night, but even still, it was like his body was on moving and active of its own accord. "Huh, don't let him fool you, Naruto. I will tell you the truth. Don't you dare, it's forbidden," Iruka cried out, clearly worried now about what Mizuki was about to say. 13 years ago a rule was created. A rule about you that everyone but you already knows. Everyone but me. What the hell are you talking about? Stop it, Mizuki, shouted Iruka, desperation clear on his face. This rule is to prevent anyone from telling you the truth about what you are. Do you want to know? What am I? You are the Kyuubi no Kitsune that nearly destroyed the village 13 years ago and that killed the beloved Yondaime Hokage, said Mizuki hatefully. You even killed Iruka's parents. There it was, the reason everyone hated him. The reason he was an outcast. The reason he was so very alone in the world. How dare you, hissed Iruka angrily at Mizuki. And now I'm going to kill you and become a hero to the village, said Mizuki, pulling one of the giant shuriken from his back. Naruto's body tried to turn and run even though all he really wanted right then was to beat the ever-living shit out of Mizuki. His body ended up cowering, expecting to be impaled by the shuriken Mizuki threw, instead he felt tears on his face. When he looked up, he saw Iruka protecting him. That Iruka had taken the hit for him. Run, take the scroll and protect it at all cost, ordered Iruka. Naruto's body once again automatically ran through the forest, eventually hiding to catch his breath. It just happened that Iruka and Mizuki entered a clearing near his hiding space. How did you know I wasn't Iruka? Tell me, Naruto, demanded Iruka, who after a sudden puff of smoke was revealed to be Mizuki. Naruto watched himself stumble backwards and lean against a tree, then also change into the real Iruka in another puff of smoke. Because, I was the real Iruka. I see, I just don't get you. Why would you protect the one who killed your family? I'm not going to let an idiot like you get that scroll, spat Iruka angrily. You're the idiot, Naruto is the same as me, retorted Mizuki. Anyone who has that scroll can do anything they want. It's the same with that monster, Kyuubi, would take advantage of the power of that scroll. Ah, you're right, Naruto instantly felt a piece of his heart break that Iruka would think of him like that. There was no way it could be true. Naruto wished so badly he could control his own body, but he was forced to sit there and listen. He would do that if he was the Kyuubi. But Naruto is different, he's one of my best students. He works hard to achieve what he's gotten. He's not the Kyuubi, he's Uzumaki Naruto of Konohagakure. Naruto couldn't control the tears that flowed at hearing such kind words from his sensei. Damn the game for making him do it, even as he stood from his hiding spot under his own power. Naruto spied around the side of the tree to see Mizuki was preparing to finish Iruka off. Objective completed. Awarded 2000 Express. Quest update. Quest alert. A rank mission. Knowledge is power. Acquire the Forbidden Scroll of Seals from the Hokage's library. Objectives. Infiltrate the Hokage's library. Escape undeterred with the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Bring the Forbidden Scroll of Seals to the secret location. Select and learn a skill from Forbidden Scroll of Seals skill catalog. Protect the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. Protect Iruka. Defeat Mizuki. Bonus. Distract the Sandaime and escape his wrath. Bonus. Select and learn an additional skill from the Forbidden Scroll of Seals skill catalog. Completion award. 2000 Express per objective, 10,000 Express for bonus objective, 10,000 Ryo upon completion of all objectives, increase reputation with Konoha. Completion failure. Capture and imprisonment. Hey, I was going to do that anyway, said Naruto. his chakra sprint and chakra reinforcement activating nearly automatically. Naruto charged out and sucker punched Mizuki, putting as much power into it as he could. Naruto was pleased to see Mizuki tumble end over end away from him and the giant shuriken go flying off in the distance. "You're not going to lay a finger on Iruka-sensei," said Naruto coldly. "Iruka-sensei, hold on to this." Naruto tossed the forbidden scroll of seals to him. "I'm going to kick Mizuki Tem's ass now." Iruka was so surprised and startled he didn't really register the scroll flying toward him until it hit him in the gut, causing him to cough. "Going to kick my ass now, are you?" asked Mizuki, recovering from the initial attack. Naruto used his observe to see the man's stats. Name: 2G Mizuki. Class: Trader. Title: Chunin. Level: LV22. Next level: 15.42%. Affiliation: HP: 651,000 CP, 1200 STR, 65 VIT, 100 Dex, 65 Int, 120 Wis, 65 Luck, 1 Status, missing Nint -35% to mission pay, plus 35% to personal bounty, ruthless plus 15% to damage, minus 15% to reputation gains. 2G Mizuki was an assistant instructor at the KSA. He used his position to gather information on the youth of Konoha to sell to the highest bidder. He is a trader of the highest caliber. Bounty: 15,000 Ryo dead or alive. So Iruka had managed to weaken him a little at some point, but he still had a lot of stats for Naruto to overcome. But Naruto didn't particularly care at the moment. He wanted to do as much damage as possible to the trader, and he had 2 new jutsu burning a hole in pocket for almost an hour now. The question was how many Kage Bunshin should he make so that they could still use Kage Buki. 10 clones would be able to make 10 weapon copies while Naruto made 100. That should be enough, right? Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said aloud for no other reason than to fuck with the traitorous prick. And with those words 10 perfect copies of Naruto shimmered into existence. Surround him, Naruto ordered his clones as he continued to glare at Mizuki. 10 times nothing is still nothing, said Mizuki coldly. We'll see about that, said Naruto, his hands already drawing a kunai from his leg pouch, an action mimicked by his clones. Naruto threw the weapon at the very cocky Mizuki. The man just stood there expecting to easily dodge the kunai when Naruto's body did 2 quick hand seals. Kage Buki no Jutsu. Suddenly that one kunai turned into 100 kunai and Mizuki's eyes widened in terror as Naruto's clones did the same damn thing, and while there were less kunai it still cut off all his escape routes. Naruto blanched a little when Mizuki took the full brunt of the kunai swarm, causing the man's HP to immediately drop to 0. Objective completed. Awarded 2,000 Express. Completion awarded 10,000 Express, 10,000 Ryo, plus 500 reputation with Konoha. Bounty awarded 15,000 Ryo for 2G Mizuki, plus 100 reputation with Konoha. Congratulations, your level has increased by 1. All told, it wasn't too bad of a day in spite of all the nasty crap he suddenly had to deal with. 3 levels, 2 new jutsu, 1 genin rank achievement, obliterating Mizuki and saving Iruka-sensei, priceless. Status: Name: Uzumaki Naruto. Class: The Gamer. Title: Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level: LV15. Next level: 0.01%. Affiliation: Konoha. HP: 2113 2113. CP: 2128 2128. STR: 3018.00. VIT: 3328.30. Dex: 3018.00. Int: 4813.30. Wis: 36.00. Luck: Def: 8220.50. SPD: 1025.00. Status: plus 10 Vit, plus 10 Int, plus % experience to Skill, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level. Prankster, minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to Trap skill, plus 5% experience to Stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of the Konoha Academy, having failed the graduation twice before while clearly not prepared to graduate. His past is shrouded in mysteries for him to uncover. Point 5. Ryo, 54,750. Naruto sat in the Hokage's office, feeling like he was 6 again and had been caught setting up a bucket over the old man's door for a prank. Only this time, Naruto was in real trouble and would be lucky to make it out alive. "So, Naruto-kun, you've had quite the adventure tonight?" asked the Hokage. Naruto wasn't sure if it was a trick question or not but answered all the same. "Yeah, it was an adventure, not all good either. Yes, you saw tonight one of the darker aspects of shinobi life. Traitors come and go and they all must be dealt with eventually. In spite of your horrendous mistake you have done a great service to this village in putting permanent stop to him, hard though it may have been." Naruto hadn't really computed that he'd killed Mizuki until the Hokage said it just then. He'd never killed before or thought he'd have to. But that wasn't entirely true either. On some level it had to have occurred to him that he would probably have to kill as a shinobi, but then again he never thought it would happen so soon or that it would be so easy to do. "I didn't mean, I killed him. Yes, Naruto-kun, you did indeed. I understand this may be difficult for you but no, I'll be here for you if you need someone to talk to about it. But for now, we need to discuss tonight's events." "I understand, Gigi," said Naruto morosely. "So, what's my punishment? I don't think punishment will really be necessary this time, but please, don't let this ever happen again." "Of course not," said Naruto. "I had no idea Mizuki was trying to trick me, I had no reason not to trust him. And that is exactly why you are not in trouble. It is also what allows me to protect you from certain elements within the village." "Because of me being Kyuubi?" asked Naruto. "You are not now, nor have you ever been the Kyuubi. That beast is sealed within you," explained the old man. "I'm sorry you had to find out the way you did. I would have preferred to sit down with you after you took your Genin ID picture. So, I'm sure you have questions, now's the time to ask them." Naruto frowned while he thought about the situation. "Why me? I can't tell you that, I just know that the fourth had absolute faith you could take on the burden. Plus, you're an Uzumaki. What does that mean exactly? You are one of the last survivors of the Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki clan bloodline is one of the only bloodlines capable of restraining the Kyuubi. Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi have always been members of the Uzumaki clan." Jinchuriki. Jinchuriki is the term applied to those who have a biju sealed inside of them. There have been 2 other Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi before you. What happened to them? Uzumaki Mito passed of extreme old age at nearly 150 years of age. The second Jinchuriki was Uzumaki Kushina. She passed the night you were born. Was she my mother? Yes, she was. We don't know everything that transpired the night of your birth that released the Kyuubi from her, but it most certainly took her life. I see, and my father? I can't say, answered the old man, but Naruto could see he was holding something back. Can't or won't? Naruto finally asked. It was quite rude to ask but he needed to nonetheless. Both, said Sarutobi. Please let this go. There are some secrets that must stand. Naruto frowned. He didn't care for that answer at all. That's some bullshit, he grumbled. Maybe it is bullshit but my word on this is law. Understood. The Hokage effectively put the subject to rest then and there. Yeah, I understand. I don't like it at all, but I understand. Naruto wasn't happy about it and with good reason, but he didn't really have any choice in the matter. Now, as to the skills you learned from the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. I must caution you to be careful with how you use them. They can be a great asset but also quite dangerous. Please be careful of chakra exhaustion, it could kill you if you're not careful. I understand, I have tons of chakra, probably because of the Kyuubi. It's also why I couldn't ever perform the stupid bunshin we learn at the academy. Oh, if you knew that, why didn't you tell me about that earlier? Well, you're busy and stuff. Besides, I asked Iruka-sensei and he said that having too much chakra wasn't a problem, I just need more control. Unfortunately the leaf sticking didn't even come close to giving me enough control. I see, said the Hokage, rubbing his chin in thought. Then I suppose it's a good thing you learned Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, isn't it? Yeah, but I still need to improve my control more, Naruto added, mimicking the old man in rubbing his chin. You could always check out the library, suggested the Hokage. Yeah, as if that place would even let me in. Most of Konoha hates me because of the Kyuubi. I can barely buy groceries and even then the stuff is mostly expired or almost expired and twice the normal price. If not for Ichiraku ramen, I'd have probably starved years ago, explained Naruto. The room temperature seemed to drop in a second to absolute zero, causing Naruto to shiver uncontrollably. He looked up at the Hokage, to see such rictus as he'd never seen on another human being's face before. It would haunt him for years to come, that rage and anger. "Would you mind repeating that?" demanded the Hokage. Naruto did as asked. "How long has this been going on?" "I don't know, since before I can remember." "Is there anything else that has happened I should know about? Has anyone hurt you?" "No, no one hurt me. I mean, sometime people would throw rotted fruit and vegetables at me if I lingered too long in the market district, and the occasional drunk would take a swing at me, but I never really got hurt." Naruto tried to calm the old man down, to downplay it a bit. He didn't want to get anyone in trouble. "And at the academy?" asked Sarutobi. Now this one made Naruto hesitate. He was honestly still miffed by all the stuff he was taught incorrectly, things that only thanks to being able to learn from the skill books was he able to correct. And if he opened up that can of worms, he'd have to explain everything to the Hokage, someone he trusted absolutely, but at the same time it made him slightly nervous to even bring it up. "It's okay, Naruto-kun, you can tell me anything. I hope you know that." Naruto took a deep breath and told him about the sabotage he received from the academy. "I see, well then. I'll see if I can get you a tutor to fix those mistakes. We won't be able to fix it in a week before team assignments, but we should be able to fix it over the course of this year." "Well, I sort of already fixed it." "Oh, and how did you manage that?" This was it, the time he either lied through his teeth to the old man or spilled the whole story. Looking at the man he looked to as a grandfather, Naruto knew he couldn't lie, so he told him everything. An hour later, Sarutobi was studying Naruto's appearance very carefully. He could see that Naruto had made a great many changes since January. His jumpsuit was gone, he was more collected, and he was clearly quite a bit more capable. That said, he still had some doubts about Naruto's claim. The easiest way to confirm his story though would be to test it. "Wait here," said Sarutobi, standing and walking toward the door to his library. He returned a moment later with a small scroll which he handed to Naruto. "You've obtained the skill scroll Uzumaki Beginner Fuinjutsu. Would you like to learn the skill?" "You want me to learn this?" asked Naruto, looking back up at the old man. "That's right, even though it will destroy the scroll?" asked Naruto, trying to be certain. He wouldn't want to be responsible for destroying something possibly priceless. "It's fine, it's part of your birthright anyway," said Sarutobi. Naruto only paused momentarily before tapping the confirm white button. "You cannot learn this skill. Required advanced Fuinjutsu LV max. It says I can't learn it until I get advanced Fuinjutsu to the maximum level," explained Naruto. "Good, that means you can't learn stuff you're not ready to know. You can keep that scroll until you can use it. Now why don't you try this one instead?" offered the Hokage, holding out a different scroll. Naruto took it in hand, excited to be learning something new. "You've obtained the skill scroll Beginner Fuinjutsu. Would you like to learn the skill?" Naruto once again looked up at the Hokage just to make sure it was still okay. He received a kind smile and a nod in return. So Naruto pushed the button. "You've obtained the professional skill, Fuinjutsu. You've learned the following seal formulas. Kibaku Fuda Grade 1, a low-quality explosive tag. Stats: 15 to 35 explosive damage, 5-meter explosive radius. Storage Scroll Grade 1, a low-quality storage scroll. Can hold up to 20 kilograms of material. Plus 15 def to chest, improve your gear by increasing the defense provided by 15 points. Plus 2 dex to wrist forearm, improve your gear by increasing the dexterity provided by 2 points. Plus 10 SP/D to feet, improve your gear by increasing the speed provided by 10 points. Plus 20 vit to legs, improve your gear by increasing the vitality provided by 20 points. The scroll went up in flames and smoke as Naruto expected and as he'd warned the Hokage. "Okay, now make me a Kibaku Fuda," ordered Sarutobi. Naruto brought up the skills menu and tapped on the Fuinjutsu skill, then on the Kibaku Fuda Grade 1. Requires chakra paper X1, chakra ink X1. Says I need chakra paper and ink, said Naruto, not noticing that the Hokage had already placed a bottle and a small stack of tag size sheets of paper in front of him. Naruto grinned sheepishly, taking the offered items, making them vanish into his inventory a moment later. Then he tried again. As if on autopilot, Naruto took out one of the tag-size sheets of paper and the ink bottle and brush. He dipped the brush into the ink and began to rapidly draw a seal on the paper. Naruto noticed a progress bar pop up just above the paper he was drawing on. It took about 30 seconds for the progress bar to finish. You've obtained Kibaku Fuda Grade 1. The stuff Naruto was using disappeared back into his inventory again, including the explosive tag, which he then pulled back out of his inventory and handed to the Hokage. Well, this is quite the surprise, said the old man, scrutinizing the seal. This isn't too bad at all. I do believe you were telling me the truth before, even more so now. I wouldn't lie to you, protested Naruto. I don't think you would, said Sarutobi, handing the tag back to Naruto. But you have to admit, it is a bit far-fetched. You're telling me, said Naruto. Still, it is pretty badass, don't you think? It can be a very powerful tool, said Sarutobi. Just don't let that power go to your head. Yeah, no kidding. My observed skill has really shown me the difference between me and others. Hell, I show your level as a very useful tool, very advantageous, said Sarutobi appreciatively. It really was a fantastic skill to have. Now, you've proven it works and even learned a valuable skill. What will you do with it next? Well, I need to keep training. But obviously I need some way of getting skill books and scrolls, since I can't really buy them anywhere and the quests are way too sporadic to count on to give me any. I see what you mean. But I can provide you something on occasion, specifically in regards to the Fuinjutsu books. I could even tell your team leader to give you instruction via scrolls specifically. It should help out some, offered the Hokage. Really, you could do that? Asked Naruto. I can, said the Hokage, smiling kindly at the young man. What about elemental jutsu? Asked Naruto, curiously. And what element would you want to learn? Have you even thought of that? All of them, of course, answered Naruto as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. And therein lies the problem. Say you decide to make fire your primary elemental jutsu, you go and learn a bunch of them. Then what if you find out you actually have a wind affinity? Do you know what would happen? No, I thought as much. Until you can tell me the answer to those questions, I don't think you need to worry much about elemental jutsu. Right, which brings us back to the library I can't get into, said Naruto. Naruto-kun, my boy, have a little faith in this old man. By the end of today you won't have any issues getting into the library. You mean tomorrow? It's getting kind of late, isn't it? Naruto-kun, it is tomorrow already. It is well after midnight, and as such, I think it's time you head home and got some sleep. You've had a very trying day. Naruto blinked in surprise at finding out just how late it was. He glanced up at the wall clock to see it was indeed well past midnight already. So, you go on home and make sure you get your picture taken tomorrow for your Genin id. We'll talk again after that and see what we can do to work on your situation. You got it, Gigi. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully stored. Naruto woke up happy to get his day underway. He had so much to do. He had to train up the 3 bonus points to each of his stats, which would include paying a visit to Shikamaru. But first things first, so much happened yesterday he hadn't had much chance to check his skills, stats and inventory. Name, Uzumaki Naruto. Class, The Gamer. Title, Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level, LV 15 next level, 0.01%. Affiliation, Konoha. HP, 2113 2113. CP, 2128 2128. STR, 3018.00. VIT, 3328.30. Dex, 3018.00. Int, 4813.30. Wis, 36.00. Luck, Def, 8220.50. SPD, 1025.00. Status, Uzumaki plus 10 Vit, plus 10 Int, plus 50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level prankster, minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to trap skill, plus 5% experience to stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked kenjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point. 5. Ryo. 54,750. At first Naruto was a bit confused by the change to his status. More specifically, that his 2 mystery status had updated with actual names. And his description was altered. His talk with the Hokage certainly filled in a lot blanks, but he didn't realize how much he'd learned as a result. Still, this was something Naruto could focus on later. For now his priority was to check the rest of the changes he's incurred. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu active LV2 Express. 0.00% CP. 1/2 total CP. Kage Bunshin are corporeal copies capable of everything you are include fighting, using jutsu and learning new things. The first Kage Bunshin will reduce your CP by 1/2 and each additional Kage Bunshins thereafter will reduce the Kage Bunshin CP by 1/2. For example, if you have CP 2000, one Kage Bunshin will have CP 1000, but 100 Kage Bunshin will have CP 10. Kage Bunshin will dispel with one solid hit or when they run out of chakra. If they die by being hit, the unused CP will return to your CP pool. Kage Buki no Jutsu active passive LV5 Express. 78.31% CP. 9 per copy, a powerful area of effect technique limited that makes physical copies of your weapons. Passively increase AoE accuracy 5%. A few other skills advanced a few levels as well, specifically his taunt, chakra sprint, chakra reinforcement, double pierce, and Buki no Arashi. That was actually a lot more advancement than he thought he'd gotten. Even with all of that, it was his forehead protector's description that made him most curious. Konoha Forehead Protector. Award upon graduation from the Konoha Shinobi Academy. This acts as a sign of your village. Wear it proudly. Wear it for access to the various training fields around Konoha. Stats. +7 Def. Access to Konoha training fields up to level 25. What did it mean? Access to Konoha training fields up to level 25 feet. Was that what caused Naruto to get into that fight with Jorogumo? Did this mean that Konoha training fields were dungeons in his gamer life? He'd have to ask Gigi and maybe Shikamaru about this. So after a quick breakfast, Naruto went to the shinobi registration office, got his picture taken and proceeded to meet with the old man again. Hello again, Naruto-kun, greeted the old man. Did you sleep okay after yesterday? I slept fine actually. I expected nightmares or something like they told us to expect in the academy. But it was like, as soon as my body hit the bed I was asleep, then a moment later I was awake and fully rested. Actually, I can't really remember the last time I had a dream while I slept. This may be part of your gamer ability. You said one of your skills was gamer's mind, yes. Something that allows you calmly and logically think. Something about giving you a peaceful state of mind also, right? Perhaps this let your mind process and accept what happened faster than most would be able to. Could it, really? I mean, I thought the brain doctors that visited said that if we don't suffer after a kill then we were probably psychopaths or sociopaths or something like that and that we would need to go into a special program. That depends. Are you sorry you killed Mizuki? Sorry, Naruto asked, stopping to think about it. Not really, he was a bad guy and wanted to kill Iruka-sensei. I mean, I don't like that I killed him, but it's probably better he's dead, right? Your answer was much more complex than I expected, but it does prove to me that your gamer's mind does indeed help you manage such things. The doctors that came were more concerned about you not feeling anything at all, like stepping on a bug. You just don't care. You obviously care that you took a life. The Hokage explained carefully. I see, so I'm good then. Yes, Naruto-kun, you're fine. Now, let's see the picture, he said holding a hand out toward Naruto. Naruto handed him the registration picture. Good, I was half afraid you were going to have kabuki war paint or some nonsense like that, said the man, studying the picture. Oh man, why didn't think of that? I was so distracted by everything else it never even occurred to me. Can I retake my picture? No, said the Hokage flatly. I'm sorry I ever said anything. Anyway, I wanted to ask about something I discovered this morning and kind of last night. Oh, and what's that? So, last night when I got to training field 13 I got a system warning telling I was entering the area and that the area was populated with chakra spiders. Anyway, I had to fight through several groups of them until I came to a boss spider called Jorogumo. The prostitute of legend, asked Sarutobi. What happened? Are you okay? I'm fine. I fought and killed her, and when she died, she kind of rapidly decayed, leaving behind loot. Loot, you know, stuff like Ryo and chakra venom to use on my weapons, explained Naruto. So anyway, when I reviewed my skills and stats this morning I also looked at my gear to see if it needed repairs. When I looked closer, my forehead protector had a stat on it that gives me access to Konoha training fields up to level 25. I thought it was weird, so here I am asking you. It seems to me that training fields might be like game dungeons. I see, said the old man, sitting back in his chair and lighting up his pipe. Well, I may not know much about these games you love so much, but from the sound of it I believe you're correct, but the only way to find out for sure is to try another training field. There are plenty available with a wide variety of chakra mutations that we let roam simply because they are good for training. Are all the fields filled with chakra mutations? No, we have 10 fields that are pretty much kept empty and are used strictly for team training or learning and creating jutsu. Fields 11 through 40 are all filled with plenty of nasty business. There are fields higher than that, but they are reserved for special events and large team training. Cool, I think, said Naruto. I'll have to check out some of the other fields later, maybe take Shikamaru with me. Does Shikamaru-kun know? Yeah, he was the first one I told, but he was already suspicious something had changed with me. He actually helped me a ton with training. Speaking of, I'm going to have to bust my ass this week to gain all my bonus stat points. Naruto added the last part more for his own benefit than the Hokages. Well then, I shouldn't keep you any longer, said the Hokage, effectively ending the conversation. Just one more question before I go, requested Naruto. Go ahead, do you know of a way to recover chakra faster than just resting? Asked Naruto. It's something he'd been thinking about for a while but didn't even know where to go or who to ask. You could use Hirogen, but no more than one a day, and that probably wouldn't be very effective now, would it? Let me think on it, see if I can find anything useful for you, offered the old man. Thanks, Gigi, I'll let you get back to work now. See you later, said Naruto cheerfully, waving goodbye to the old man as he left the office. Once outside the Hokage Tower, Naruto's first stop was Higurashi Weapons for some supplies that hopefully they would sell. Naruto, surprised to see you here today. You need something? Fuinjutsu supplies, he answered simply. Sure, said the large man. I keep that stuff in back, not many ask for it and I don't feel the need to take up valuable shelf space. Thanks, I need more ink, chakra papers, and blank scrolls. Naruto read off the list he'd assembled that morning. Oh, going all out, huh? Asked the man. Have you ever known me to half-ass anything? No, I suppose not, said Hidden, an odd gleam in his eyes. Seeing as you're not one to half-ass things, I suppose you'll be replacing your kunai and shuriken with standard issue as opposed to that academy crap then. Of course. Wait, what? Good to hear. I'll just bring you a full genin kit, minus the Kibaku Fuda, since you can make your own cheaper than I'll sell them. The man grinned happily as he trudged into the back before returning a few minutes later with a large backpack and box. Naruto blinked owlishly at everything the man had just said on the counter. What the hell is all of that? So glad you asked, said Hidden, smiling proudly. First up, in this box is a Fuinjutsu starter kit including 20 blank scrolls, 200 chakra papers, and 10 bottles of chakra ink. The bag contains everything a new genin should possess. You'll find cloaks for cold, temperate and hot weather environment. There is also a tent and sleeping bag. But most importantly, you'll get 50 standard issue kunai and 200 standard issue shuriken. So, that all comes to 44,750 ryo. Naruto felt his jaw drop. He understood that it was probably a really good deal, but damn, did it have to be that expensive? Even with it taking such a large chunk out of his funds, the man was right. It was stuff he should have as a genin, and no doubt this was all going to be higher quality stuff than anything he currently has. Fine, you swindler, I'll take it, but don't think for a second I won't remember this, said Naruto, slapping the large wad of cash down on the counter. After that he was at least able to sell his leftover academy issue kunai and shuriken, but didn't get even close to the same money back. The man grinned. Pleasure doing business with you. Naruto grumbled the whole way home. Status. Name, Uzumaki Naruto. Class, the gamer. Title, genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level, LV15 next level, 0.01%. Affiliation, Konoha. HP, 2113 2113. CP, 2128 2128. STR, 3018.00. VIT, 168.30. Dex, 3018.00. Int, 48 153.30. Wis, 36.00. Luck, Def, 8220.50. SPD, 1025.00. Status, Uzumaki +10 Vit, +10 Int, +50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, +100 HP and +100 CP per level prankster -5% reputation gains, +5% experience to trap skill, +5% experience to stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked genjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point. 5. Ryo. 10,550. Equipment. Head. Konoha Forehead Protector. Award upon graduation from the Konoha Shinobi Academy. This acts as a sign of your village. Wear it proudly. Wear it for access to the various training fields around Konoha. Stats. +7 Def. Access to Konoha training fields up to level 25. Face. Empty. Neck. Empty. Chest. Burnt orange and black light armor. A tough short sleeve jacket covered in thick cloth and lined with light chain mesh. This armor provides light protection from weapons. Requires LV10. Stats. +20 Def. +7 Dex. +7 STR. +7 Vit. +0.50 to speed. Dur 75/75. Back. Empty. Legs. Black light armored pants. Tough ankle length pants covered in thick cloth and lined with light chain mesh. This armor provides light protection from weapons. Requires LV10. Stats. +25 Def. +8 Dex. +8 STR. +8 Vit. +5% effectiveness to stealth. Dur 75/75. Hands. Black fingerless gloves with metal plate. Tough gloves with a solid gripping surface and some protection. Requires LV9. Stats. +7 Def. +5% to parry. Dur 50/50. Forearm. Burnt orange and black forearm guard. A simple guard for the forearm used for enhanced protection. Requires LV8. Stats. +5 Def. Dur 40/40. Shin. Black shin guard. A simple guard for the shin used for enhanced protection. Requires LV8. Stats. +5 Def. +5% effectiveness to stealth. Dur 40/40. Feet. Black genin shinobi sandals. Made of tough cloth-like material, these sandals are perfect for genin as they do not impede flexibility or chakra flow but also offer additional protection. Requires LV11 stats. +10 Def. +5% effectiveness to stealth. +1.00 to speed. Dur 50/50. Leg pouch. Standard issue kunai 10 out of 10. Standard issue kunai for Konoha's active shinobi forces. Good quality kunai for combat use. Stats. 4 to 8 damage melee, 10 to 15 damage ranged. Hip pouch slot 1. Standard issue shuriken 50/50. Standard issue shuriken for Konoha's active shinobi forces. Good quality shuriken for combat use. Stats. 6 to 8 damage ranged. Hip pouch slot 2. Kibaku Fuda 1/50th, a low quality explosive tag. Stats. 15 to 35 explosive damage, 5 meter explosive radius. Hip pouch slot 3. Empty.